Marco. Marco.
Hello.
All right. We've got
From
Impossible.
It's in the pool.
Impossible. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Hey,
I
Bella
got you.
Gemini. Can you hear me? Sigma Uno. Can you hear me?
Yep, gotcha.
Miss Buzzy Robbins. Wow. How did you get that name? Can you hear me?
I can.
All right. All right. So with it, this is another episode, another day of life, laughs, knowledge, and positivity. Episode is Life Lessons for All. Ultimately, let us learn through experience and pass this knowledge on. What I want to do in this, let me put my headphones on real quick. Let me clear some of this clutter. What I want to do in this episode or in this discussion, I want us to be able to impact other individuals by things that we have gone through. So each one of us, I just want y'all to give, we're going to go down the line with just a life lesson that you can pass on to the listeners to hopefully help them, because you never know what somebody may be going through, anything like that. So just we might be able to teach, lead, or pass on the knowledge to another individual, saving them the hardships that we have gone through in life, that we have went through. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Why are my headphones not connected? Of all the times. Gosh, I gotta sit here and troubleshoot now. All right. So with it, I'm just gonna go ahead.
It look like we lost our host.
Nah, you
He'll
didn't.
be
I'm
back.
still here.
Yeah,
I'm
we
still
can
here.
hear you.
All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go ahead and have write down impossible. Go ahead and give a little something about you, and then just drop a little gem, drop a little life lesson for us.
Uh, yeah, a little bit about me. I got into this journey probably around about 15 years ago of enlightenment of self. Um, was raised from a single mother and a grandmother. Uh, Issued in the part of fatherless pain is what I quoted, is what we teach our own children a lot of times. We don't know what we teach. Um, I'm truly a seeker of the occult knowledge, um, meditative. For me, consciousness is all. Spirituality is all. It's just understanding self is everything. I mean, I guess a life lesson for me, because for me, I don't really have a backstory because my whole life has been leading up to this particular point. So to go back and try to tell the whole world who I am in a short little clipping, that really ain't gonna fly. For me, life lessons, the greatest life lesson that I've learned is to understand love at a capacity where most people are afraid of. The greatest lesson that I've learned is to actually be able to mirror love from a divine state. That's the greatest lesson that I've learned. So if I had to talk about lessons that I've learned, that's one of them. Every other thing in life has just been obstacles and points of pivotal evolution. There are just moments of where you shed certain aspects of yourself, moments where you awaken to your true self. So a lot of times what we call hard times, rough times, and things of that nature, those are all just limitations of who we actually are becoming. So life's lessons for me, life lessons, has been truly the evolution of love from a divine state, from coming from a place where uh, thinking about committing suicide and pulling the trigger and looking down the barrel of a gun and saying that, hey, I can end my whole life right now and my daughters would be better off, to realizing that they're better off with me here versus me being gone. So that's the greatest, you know what I'm saying, for me, life lessons for all is just to understand love at a capacity where you're not limited in fear and confusion. You're in a place of power and peace, and to be able to mirror that love, you know, that's empowering to be able to mirror love. And that's me.
Okay, okay. Hey, Vexen, I'm gonna have you go next. All right.
Sounds good. Sounds good. All right. You know, big life lessons, man. Let's circle back to Impossible's point of love. Mirroring universal love, but also giving self love. That's probably one of the most important things that a lot of people overlook. A lot of what people think love should be is being selfless, and just giving all of yourself with no reward, which has its benefits, and you should be selfless to an extent, but you also got to be a little bit selfish. It's the difference between being having a healthy level of ego and being self-centered. I think one of the most important things you can do for yourself is to be yourself and not let anybody tell you who the fuck you are, or what the fuck you should do. 100%. I've lived my entire life, you know, bound by those shackles of what everyone else thinks I should be, what everyone else thinks I should fucking do. We're going back to do we conform, or do we create? And it really depends on the position in life you've taken, the view of yourself that you have. If you do value yourself, um, and those around you, you're way more likely to create than you are to conform. Conformity is the box someone would rather put you in instead of the box you are making for your own life.
Okay, okay, okay. Hey, Miss Buzzy Robbins, I'm gonna have you go next. All right. A little bit about yourself and just a life lesson that you have learned, and then once we go through everybody, we're gonna do what I love to do: chop it up as a discussion, and we're gonna get deep into all of it.
Okay. All right. All right. All right. So, my name is Judith Robbins. I'm a very close friend of Mr. Daniels, and
That's
I'm
my
gonna
mom.
leave it at that. Yes, I'm Ira's mom, so this is a little bit awkward. Yes, nope, almost.
Oh
Um,
no, you're chopping up, Miss Buzzy
don't give
Robbins.
up on me. All right, I'm back. You got
Okay.
me?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, with the first two young men that went, it's what I have to say is very similar. I actually wrote these three things down, and you've covered all three of them already. So, yeah, life lessons that I've learned, and I've been in existence for a while now, so I've learned a lot, and every day is a learning um, curve for me, a learning situation. Something goes on where you never know everything. Life is not born with a book that tells you how to do this. Well, that's a lie. It is born with a book. It's born for me. And that Bible tells you everything that you should do and you should not do. And I'm gonna keep it right there because I am finding the mistakes or what I've learned in life. It was learned. It all encompasses love, lust, and loneliness. Um, I realized that if I love like God loves me, in spite of, think to include loving myself, things are going to be much better in your life. And I know that didn't come out right in the tense, but if you love like God loves you, things will be a lot easier in life. It will be a lot easier for everybody. Love covers a multitude of things, and it causes us to accept people the way they are and not the way that we want them to be. And it also helps us to understand that someone loves us with all of our what we call them hiccups and habits and all of that good stuff. So it should be easy for us to love other people. I'm gonna come back. Well, now I got to do this lust thing too. um Now I know you guys not gonna like this, but I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. Sex is one of the things that will kill you early in life. Now you and look at it in this context. um if I had listened to what was told to me about intimacy or get married before you have sex and all this, that, and the other. um I believe my relationship, not just today, but even with my first marriage, it would have been different. People tend to say, when a body becomes one, yeah, you're gonna pick up some habits and stuff from other people, but it's just like intimacy is such an intimate thing where it should only be shared with that person that you want to spend the rest of your life with. And when you don't, you tend to hurt yourself, you tend to hurt others. Yeah, you tend to pick up some diseases, all this, that, and the other, a lot of stuff that goes with that. And like I said, you guys not gonna like that, but this is what I've learned in my life. Loneliness, if you got that relationship with God, you're never lonely, you're never alone. But we tend to want to be needing someone when really we don't necessarily need to be in the presence of someone at all times. I mean, if you always up in somebody's face, how you gonna get your orders for what it is that you need to do? But along with that loneliness comes this mental health thing. um when we feel like we don't have anybody, we feel like nobody cares about us, we want to be with someone and we end up being with the wrong person, it tends to mess with our mental health. Your depression comes in, your anxiety comes in. You're depressed because you don't fit in. And I like what the brother said about not fitting in. You don't have to fit in with anybody. You are you and you do what you do and not what others want you to do. But all of that creates an issue. And I guess I done dug a grave deep enough to where when it comes back around to me, I can kind of like dig out. Is that okay, Ira?
Yeah, that's perfectly good.
Okay, I'm done.
All right. Hey, Rio, can you hear me? You
Yeah.
all right? All right, good, good, good. I'm gonna go ahead and have you go next. Oh, okay. Sigma Uno's back. Sigma Walter, I'm gonna have you go right before me. All right.
Gotcha.
All right. So, Rio, I'm gonna have you go ahead and go. The topic is life lessons for all. So, just introduce a little bit about yourself, and then just give us like one life lesson. And then once you're done, I'm gonna have Walter go. I got a couple things that I wrote down because I personally, my life lessons, I write them down so I can try and teach my kids them. So that way, hopefully, they can go further than me rather than repeating the cycle that I have. So I'm gonna hit a couple of mine at the end, and then we can have a discussion. You know how I like to do. So go ahead, Rio.
All right. I'm sorry, my brother. Could you please repeat that? I was trying to get my mic together. I couldn't hear nothing.
All right. First of all, I like that Demon Slayer shirt. What
Oh,
I was
thank
saying
you.
was just introduce yourself, like a little bit about yourself, and then just give us like a life lessons that you have learned throughout your life so far that can possibly most likely impact and help somebody who's listening.
Oh, okay. Um, all right, my name is Dario, aka Rio, as some of my friends call me. And my background is honestly, I come from a background that most of us come from, a broken home, a lot of different schools, just crazy getting by on whatever I can. But a life lesson that I learned is that you as a person, you really don't have to go through something for you to tell somebody about it. Like, I hear a lot of people saying that, oh, you didn't go through it, so you don't know. Just because you're not going through it as a person don't mean that you can't understand or you can't empathize with somebody or you can't lend a hand with somebody that's going through something or see it from their way. Like, like with the children thing, a lot of times people don't want to see the bad in their children, just like they don't want to see the bad in themselves. Like you could
Mm,
tell a person something ugly about themselves and they'll deny that shit to the T if they don't want to acknowledge it.
facts.
So usually I feel like when a person is telling you you can't tell them something because you ain't never been through it, that's because they don't want to hear your opinion because what your opinion differs from theirs. And how dare you have one that differs from theirs. So that's a life lesson that I've learned that you ain't got to go through it. All you got to do is sit back and observe.
Okay, okay. I like that. I like that. That's real. That's real. Walt Sigma Uno, Walter, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right.
So, my background is School of Hard Knocks. Basically,
I like that.
To say
everybody.
the least.
Exactly. Uh, I have I have lived and experienced a life as opposed to learning and then living. So my perspective comes from the things that we put ourselves through, the trauma that we suffer inadvertently, the impact that other people have on your life, and then vice versa. Uh, the biggest life lesson is for me is to allow people to be people. You can't change anyone. Their life experience is their experience. So the way that they're acting, who they are, instead of getting angry, I take two steps back and consider what they're going through, or if they've been traumatic, if they've been impacted traumatically, and give them some room to be who they are. Um, for the most parts, that it allows people to be more common in a conversation. I've developed myself to the point of a therapist and a peer. So my my automatic thing is to take a step back and listen and understand, to try to understand what's happening with someone, as opposed to jumping in head first and drowning them with my experience. That way, they have a chance. They have some time to breathe. Just a The lesson is just allow people to be who they are. um, and it'll give them a different perspective on life as well. That not everyone's out to get them, or life isn't as hard as you're making it to be. In some cases,
Oh no.
What happened?
Not Walter,
Whoa, he was
no.
getting good too.
I know, right? Why he had to
Right,
give us a
right when he
black
was
screen?
dropping. Right when he
He'll
was
be
Yeah,
back.
dropping.
For real,
He'll be
right
back.
when he started
I
spitting
know,
the
right?
truth.
Right when he started dropping it, bro, man started dropping the knowledge, and it said, look at that. Hey, the feds are watching us."
For real,
Uh,
they
they don't like
all
the
All right.
watching.
truth.
Day. As soon as you start speaking, as soon as the truth come out, they like hold up, boom. Ain't they like the same thing when they do like the Grammys and stuff? They're like, I like to thank G, and all of a sudden everything cuts off. Remember they about to say Jesus is over, everything cut off. All right,
Yep.
well, once he comes back in, we'll see, and then hopefully he can pick up to where he left off at, if he even notices that he's off right now. With me, I'm just gonna cover 5 things because I'm not gonna do a whole lot. I'm just gonna do 5 out of my little daily words and things that I have. The I'm gonna start with one that everybody probably can relate to. Um, so with it, the first one that I'm gonna hit is anyone who asks you if they're toxic, they are.
Man, everyone's a little fucking toxic, to be honest.
I'm talking about the people who ask you like, do you think I'm toxic? Or literally that's their question. Do you think I'm toxic? Every time I've had someone ask me that question, it's led to many heartaches and other things in life. What is this? Oh, okay. Sweet. So I'm like, yo, that right there. If someone asks you if they're toxic, you're most likely going to have that feeling in your gut telling you, step away, back away some. Another one that I have is I have learned to stay to self because so many that enter your life these days are just hoping to see how they can use or benefit from you. Oh, Sigma Uno's back. And with that one, I'm like, we all know what it's like to have people around you who you think care about you. The whole time they're plotting on how they can defeat you or how they can put you down to elevate themselves. Oh,
Self-centeredness.
yeah, there's a lot of self-centeredness. Sigma Uno, you back?
don't see him.
I don't see him
That's,
either.
that's
No,
you.
I don't see him either.
There you
All right.
go.
Oh, there
Oh
he
wait,
is.
there you go. There you go.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
He's out of the hole. You remember what
Yeah.
you heard?
I cannot remember. I froze up, and the whole thing had to come out to come back.
Oh man.
That's weird.
My memory shot.
So what I can't remember what the last thing I said before I froze or what I was saying. I guess I'll start from the beginning if that's okay.
I think hold on. I think I did remember kind of a spot where you're at. You're talking about, allowing people or giving people room to be themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Basically, just giving people room to be themselves, and realizing that everyone is having an experience, and just being mindful and watchful of the people around you. And I agree when you said that sometimes you got to be selfish. You got to be selfish. You have to protect yourself at the same time. And then again, I believe it's realizing or coming to the state of realizing why we're here in the first place and what role we play. And if you listen enough,
No.
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 Right down where he was.
and you
Yeah.
look at
Every
people
time you
from
get to cooking.
Oh, he's moving.
what in the world? I don't know what's happening. That's weird. Maybe I should change my. No, I think I got a good enough internet connection. Weird.
I'm gonna have to. Hey, on Fridays you coming over here, all right?
I got you. Okay, but anyways, at the end of the day, just allowing people to be them, and then protecting yourselves, and just coming to a state of mind where you understand why you're here, and I think that allows you to be more calm, and like like you all were saying earlier, it's loving yourself and coming from a place of love. And I think that's the intended purpose of our existence in the beginning, because despite who we are, the world we came to, the world we live in, is entirely in unrest. So I think kind of like I believe it's that thing that says if we're at rest and we're coming from a place of love, and we're strong enough to protect ourselves and to be solid in ourselves and for the people around us, it'll begin to spread. And this podcast is like proven, because now we're connecting with people in with like mind. So it's kind of a lesson I learned, just connecting with people that think and believe the same way or have the same heart, and eventually it will happen, you know. So yeah, I don't. Again, I hope all of the message came out, because I've been pausing quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's delayed.
Yeah,
He
it
came out.
like
He
he was
came out
stuttering a little bit.
Yeah,
Hey,
every time you get to cooking.
it's interesting that you said that. The one that I have kind of tags on to the ending of what you said. Kind of goes against the ending of what you said a little bit.
Right.
But at the same time, how we talked about discernment and intuition before, this is kind of where that comes into play. Be aware of the entity that molds itself to be exactly what you think you want. It has studied you, become the perfect actor to play the role in your life in hopes to control you and make you submit, causing you to lose yourself completely.
That was you?
Yeah.
You need to write that down. That was deep.
I have it written down. These are things that
Okay.
I'm teaching my
Yeah,
kids.
that'll make you think. That'll make you think.
Definitely.
So these are life lessons that I'm gonna be teaching my kids.
Can I hear that one more time? I just want to really get in here.
Be aware of the entity that molds itself to be exactly what you think you want. It has studied you, become the perfect actor to play that role in your life in hopes to control you and make you submit, causing you to lose yourself completely.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
That is
yeah,
what the Buddha said when he was in meditation. When they said, "I am great," he said, "I no,
Exactly.
nah. So
You
it's
want,
the same thing. So yeah, kudos to that, bro. That's
yeah,
right on time, for real, for real.
I want you to
Hey,
believe
Mhm.
you're something that you're not, or something that you didn't come to be.
Mm-hmm.
So it can sidetrack you. Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
get
Right.
it,
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's
Quite
what the
literally.
devil does. He gives
Yeah,
you what you want, what
exactly.
you want. So you really have to know, am I following the right track or am I
Exactly.
following the track of the enemy? Because I mean, he'll trip
Right.
you up,
Exactly.
and starting all over again is not a good thing.
Mm.
yeah.
That
Sometime it
breakdown to
is.
start over.
Sometime it is.
I was about to
That whole
say,
break, yeah, that whole
sometimes starting
breakdown.
over can be the best thing you ever did.
I'm trying to
But
Yeah.
if
tell
you
you.
start right, you ain't got to start over. That's the thing. Start
Why
right.
not? Why not?
But
I,
we in a
Maybe that
we live in a
chapter is finished.
society.
Hey man,
exactly.
Maybe that chapter is finished.
sometimes
We
you
Right.
live in
You
a
Oh,
can't
well,
always
this
look
society.
at it
chapter is
as a
not.
failed chapter.
No.
That's you
But let
just
me say this.
elevated to a new
Um,
chapter in life.
Okay, I like that elevating to a new chapter in life because starting all over again means starting from the bottom, coming back up. No, if you start from the bottom and make your way up, then you know you're there. You
When
gonna
you
have some
start something
distractions
new,
somewhere
isn't that the
else.
bottom? When you start something
That's a
new,
good
isn't that
shape
you
to
starting
be
from the bottom?
in. No,
bottom of the
Huh?
page.
I am on my second retirement and I'm starting something new and I'm not starting from the bottom.
Mm.
Mm,
I'm not
I,
starting
Turn
I,
from the
I,
bottom.
I am in
I'm not
agreement.
starting
You don't
over.
right. You don't have to
mm,
start at the bottom to start over. The other side
Right.
is to really recognize if I'm starting over, I have to leave something else behind. A lot of people they'll start over, but they want to bring that same thing with them, and
Right.
that's the
Oh,
problem
oh,
with it. You know what I'm saying? A
oh,
new
right,
beginning.
Because
So
you
with a
haven't
mm.
new
right.
learned the
beginning,
lesson from the last
right?
fall. That's the problem.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
the another one that I have is trust your discernment more than the feelings of lust and love. Both are just feelings that you form based off the physical body. Discernment is from a place that's for the greater good of you.
Or those
Mm.
around you.
Mm.
I'll take
You're right.
the intention. What the read that one more time.
Trust your discernment more than the
Boom.
feelings of lust and love.
Right
So it
there.
would be more trust my intention more than my
Intention?
discernment. My intention.
Mm.
Cause see, if your intention bad, what kind of discernment you got?
Exactly.
Hmm.
Ah.
Self-centered one.
So if
I
your
agree.
intention is really pure, if your
Mhm.
intention is really to empower, really to help people, then your discernment, what you're going to receive from that is going to be beneficial to all. But if your intention ain't right, the hell with your discernment.
You're right,
Yeah.
and I agree because that's my whole encounter of people was that for a long time. When you hear people say uh, that you're supposed to trust your leaders and and listen to the elders, not everybody is right, and not everybody's intention is right. So I've been walked over so many times that I see people coming before I even get there.
No.
God
Oh,
Come
damn.
on, bro.
God. Every
Yo,
time
like
he get to cooking. Every time.
yeah,
he, I'm gonna call him the super chef right now.
that's what I'm
Super
saying. I'm
Yep.
like,
chef.
yo,
His
yo, like,
internet be
look, like
like, not
every
today.
single every time he starts going, it's like
God.
he gets on plug. All right, hey, we gotta remember the last thing he said. Every single time,
Time.
he said, trust your leaders, but
Yep.
there's been many times where he gets stepped over.
Stepped
So,
over. Yep.
man, I need to have a pen. I'm gonna have to start writing down notes and
A
last
leader,
points that he
Because
was
that
saying,
was
so we can
definitely
take that
about to
when we
be a
come
life
back.
lesson he was about to tell.
I know, right,
a,
man?
a leader stands with you. They don't stand in front of you.
Facts.
Agreed. Agreed.
I can
Facts.
agree with that. I can definitely agree with that. What
Facts.
would you say? What would you say, Miss Robbins? I mean, you were in leadership positions for a long time. What would you say about leadership?
Hmm. I like what the young man just said. A leader stands beside you.
Which one? There's
Um,
four of us on there.
I'm the one that just spoke about a leader stands beside you. I didn't
Okay.
get everybody's names. I didn't write them down. But
Can you
what
see
would I
the
say about
names?
leadership? No. What do you say about leadership? About leadership. Let me tell you this. I talked to two of my old soldiers yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
One come. I'm both of them I met back in 96, 97.
Okay.
And I was eating lunch with one yesterday, and the other one called me on the phone. Mind you, I was their first sergeant, so that should tell you what type of leader I was. I've always been for the underdog, because
Mhm.
what we had to say, you're
Mm-hmm.
only as strong as the weakest link. So
Yes.
whoever your weakest link is, you have to build
Yep.
that person up to be able to carry the rest of the team. So I was that kind of person. Never looked down on anybody. I always brought people up. I heard something the other day. It says when you go to a concert, you on the bottom and you looking up. So that means you worshiping the ones that are down up there. But when you go to an orchestra, you looking down on those people. That means you have the power. I had the power, but I didn't put myself in a position to be looked. How shall I say? I didn't was overbearing. I
Mhm.
took
Mm-hmm.
people to where I was. I ensured they were getting to where I was. I got my degrees and I challenged them to get theirs. I wanted them to be someone. That's my leadership style. And every leader is different. It's what do you want out of life? What you looking for?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-mm-mm.
Mm-hmm.
That's my mom, y'all. That's my mother. That's my
Oh,
Margaret.
that's your mom?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Dang,
don't
I'm
try
so
to
fat.
don't try not to challenge me because I'm his mom. I'm here with y'all.
Yeah.
Oh
Hey,
no,
hey,
I'm gonna
All
still
listen,
challenge.
You
no.
good.
The
men that
wisdom,
I'm
are
the
gonna
here
wisdom
with
still
I
me.
have comes
challenge.
from this woman. A lot of
I'm gonna
wisdom I
still
have comes from
challenge,
this
but I
woman.
see where he get it from.
Yeah,
I see where my
she's the
boy
one who
get it
challenged
from.
me to be a critical thinker and to be to always every day strive to learn something new. So I
Yeah.
mean, yeah. Oh God, my dog got gas.
Yeah.
She's in red. Sorry.
Yeah. My mom
Yeah.
taught me how to be free. So
How to be
that's how
what?
I see how to be free. That's how I
Mm.
see beyond a lot of things. That's how I'm able to be my own person because I've never had to pretend.
It's interesting you say that. Aaron and I was talking about this yesterday. It was something I told him when he went in the Marines. Do not conform.
Ooh,
It's a game.
ooh,
Mm,
Do not conform.
ooh.
And that goes right into with what you're saying. As long as you have the freedom of your mind, nothing can come in
mm-hmm.
and tear you down. You got
Mhm.
to be you.
Yeah.
You have to be you. You were born and built on a foundation, and I pray it was a good foundation. Grow from that foundation. But when you
Mhm.
start to follow somebody else and do what they're doing, it's not good. You're not you.
Yep.
Be free.
Right,
I like that.
right.
I like that. Be
Yep.
free.
I
I gotta add that to my be this.
I was just put in well, I shouldn't say put in a position, but I ended up getting myself in a position where I was with someone
Uh oh.
who challenged my capacity for empathy and sympathy. And kind of just wanted to, it seemed like they wanted to kill that and bring me to the point of apathy because apparently nothing matters. Why should it matter? You don't have to care about anything. And like I can't help but care.
Yeah.
I'm a lover, right down to the core of who I am. And I was going through a really really challenging position or challenging situation with my relationship. And it was one of those, you really got to be worried about the entities around you, because there will be people that are trying to bring you down to their level and almost take your soul away from you because well I'm here, so why shouldn't you be here? Um,
Yeah.
and it's kind of a product of the system we live in. It's one of those things like like yeah, like consumerism exists, but you can do your part to not play into that. You don't have to just like not care about it. It's your choice. And if you choose to just not care about it, so be it, but
Mm,
you can't expect someone to conform to your ideals just because that's what you believe. It's like a lot of looking back on like the Judeo-Christian dogma. I consider myself very spiritual and not religious, mostly for the fact that like um, Christianity these days is has been more missionarianism than actual like the spiritual belief about it. And like if you read the Bible, like Jesus and God condemn missionarianism. you know, because regardless of what they believe, everyone has the right to believe what they believe, whether it
Mhm.
be a false idol or the one true God. You know, we give power where we give power. And there's a lot of people out there that are going to try and take your power away from you because they don't want to see you shine. Why would they want to see you shine when they want to shine, brighter? And that's an important thing to remember is if we all shine, if we all shine, the world's gonna be a real bright place. But
Facts.
uh, you know, yeah, and I'm starting to see that pick back up. The world was a pretty dark place for a long time. I saw a lot of apathy. I saw a lot of pain. I'm still seeing it, but people are waking up a lot more, and they're shedding those shades, and they're becoming brighter, and they're I see a lot of people all over the internet now, like this huge wave of people just fostering that inner light because it's fucking worth it. You know,
I
uh,
feel you.
Is everybody
Yeah.
freezing tonight?
Say what?
Yeah.
I think something's wrong with everybody's internet, man. I had to pull from the internet and connect to my own network. That's weird, but
Yeah, I'm like
yeah,
Miss Buzzy Robinson fell off as well. I
Um,
don't know. Like
Hmm.
so
I'm
yeah.
seeing
I'm
y'all
back.
moving around just fine. I don't
we
know.
had a solar flare that hit yesterday or day before, and it's been messing with
Oh,
a lot
really?
of communication.
That is stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
whose phones have been down and all
Oh,
that.
Yeah, yeah.
I
So
I get
yeah,
Wow.
there's certain phone companies or TVs, and like we doing right now, the things are just shutting out. That's
Yeah,
something they're not televising, but yeah, we've been hit with a couple of solar flares in
The
the
solar
last
flare.
48 hours.
and it's just
Yeah.
Yeah.
supposed to be getting worse because I know T-Mobile was
Yeah.
down like a couple days ago. Oh,
Yeah.
and I think
AT&T was
like
down yesterday.
yeah. But
Hmm.
hey, my last one that I have is people will lie about you, lie to your face, then blame you for their actions and try to convince you of the lies they created. Be silent and let them choke on their own words.
Every time.
I learned. Oh,
All day.
I learned that a long
Every
time
time.
ago. I learned it
Every
because
time.
it's they will cook up the non-truth and try to force it down your throat as if you did, man. And it's almost the people closest to you that'll do it because they're in some type of feeling some type of way, or they're feeling like they need somebody to hurt in front of them in order to make their lives be better. And it's a bad direction, but there's nothing you can do to change that. You can only be
it
solid in
can
who
be
you are.
it can
Mm-hmm.
be less than that sometimes. People. Yeah, there's a lot of people that will do that shit, but there's also people that they just coming from an honest place, they think they know what's best for you. And sometimes that's not always the case. They have lived their life with their own experiences, and they have their own history, and they've learned their own life lessons. And sometimes people don't understand that not every situation has to be approached the same way.
Hmm.
And that gets people very very confused, and they people will even accidentally gaslight you because of that. And it's a really shitty thing. I don't believe that everyone, people, when you're gaslit, I don't think it's always 100% intentional. Some people like live a certain way, and they have come up with their own black and white ideals of what life is, what life should be. And they will unintentionally subjugate that on you because they think they know what's best. And I've dealt with it all my life. As a polyamorous person, you know,
Hmm.
uh, people have this black and white idea on what love is and what you should do with that. And for me, it really really damaged my outlook on love and made it hard for me to attain the love that I knew I wanted and needed, because I thought that I needed to do it this specific way, and like that's just who I wasn't. So I ended up holding myself most of myself back, because I found it very hard to approach love and relationships the way that everyone wanted me to, instead of just being myself and exploring the love I know I had the way that it exists for me.
Hey, you brought up something that I really kind of want to touch on. I think we all can talk on this due to the fact of what the topic is about to be, or this subject is about to be. At the beginning, almost all of y'all spoke about love and lust. I want to get a little deeper into that. Lessons on love and lessons on lust. I feel that that is something that a lot of people are constantly dealing with in this day and age. This is my personal opinion. I see a lot of lust being portrayed as love these days. A
Mm.
lot of people are hurt and hurting others because they refuse to heal or either do work on themselves before going to another individual. What are your thoughts on that statement?
Well, I think that
Hey, don't cut out on us.
lust by itself got a stronger connection on my phone. But I think the word lust is not secluded to just to sex or intimacy. I think the word lust is something strongly desired. And when if you think about the mind of young people or the mind of children, when they want what they want, they will kick and scream and and unless they until they get it or until they're convinced that they can't have it. Um, but lust, the idea, the lust of my eyes is the person or the thing that I see that I want, and I don't see any perimeters around it, so I go for it, regardless of whether it should be mine or not. It's an education. It's me saying that, hey, this is me. This is what I want, but this is what this is, whether it's is it attainable or not. We never
Mhm.
stop to think whether it's attainable or not. We just go for it. So in the picture of a person, if you're lusting for someone that you don't even know because of the image of the person, or you go for that person and that person's not even your type, and you begin to force yourself into that person's life, either the person's strong enough to push back on you or the person gives in and you begin to create a relationship that's not supposed to be. So it's not just a waste of time for you, it's a waste of time for the person as well, and it's in the wrong direction. So you've just took yourself off whatever track that you're supposed to be on. And all the basis of this is in education or us teaching the child, hey, yes, you want this, but you can't have it because of this. Yes, we want things, but if the person says no, then you're supposed to back off and go a different way. Right? We said this in a few of the different do a couple of different casts, and we talked about doing the inner work or teaching the inner work or beginning to understand and know who you are from the inside, versus looking at everything on the outside and wanting to pick from what you're looking at. That's the
Shadow
problem.
work is
Yes,
shadow work is so
we're
important.
we're picking from everything that we're looking at, as opposed to uh, going inside of us and aligning ourselves or being taught to align ourselves, so we're not in this ravenous need to have what we want because we're looking at it. Um, and it's hard because that lesson isn't taught initially. It isn't. We're from broken places. A lot of us are from broken places, so we didn't learn that lesson initially. So lust was like our best friend, or the person, the thing that's standing on our shoulder. You can have it because you want it. No, that's not necessarily the truth. And because you want it doesn't mean that you necessarily should have it. And that's the problem, because we haven't been taught to understand who we are or where we come from, or where why we come here. Then that's kind of our companion. How do we get rid of this companion that's causing us so much damage? because of what we want as opposed to what we actually know that we need. And when do we begin to have this conversation with ourselves, or who is there that's supposed to teach us? Again, I go back to my parents, because my parents, they were teaching based on how they lived or how they grew up,
Mhm.
not their faults. And it's a constant, this is the most enlightened age. This is the most enlightened era, I believe, because we're able to see things before they get ugly, and we're able to teach. Like, you're able to teach your children. I'm able to teach my kids. I'm not beating my kids over the head with things that are not necessary. I'm teaching them how to look at life the way it is,
Hi, Samira.
to pay attention to what's going on, to talk about what you're feeling on the inside. And if it's this feeling that you want something that you can have, then let's talk about whether you can or not. Those conversations are necessary. That didn't happen for me. So all the bumps and bruises I achieved, and all the moments of lust that I delved into that
Mhm.
ended in tragedy,
Mhm.
are because I didn't learn, or no one taught me that. I'm still alive and I'm still free. So I still have an opportunity. I still have an opportunity to look on the inside and to begin to learn. Hey, this world is not for me to pick from a category, a shelf of all these things. It's for me to figure out who I am and find a place of peace in order to live without subjecting myself to this lust. And again, for me, it's not just a lust of people; it's the lust of things. It's the lust,
Mhm.
the desires that other things that are people are putting in front of you and saying you can have this and that or whatever. Or a commercial comes on, and every time a commercial comes on, I hear something, I jump up and go to KFC, or I jump up and go to McDonald's because they're saying I should have it. You see what I'm saying? So it's disconnecting from this place that's saying you can have whatever you want. That's not necessarily a good thing, because it doesn't, if it's not good for you at all, it ends tragically. And again, speaking from the mindset of falling and the school of hard knocks, and watching people go through things, and me going through things myself, it's not just it's a hard thing to not lust, or to not want what you want, because if you're not educated, or if you're not an understanding of who you are, then you're going to fall in something like that.
Mhm.
Um, that's why, from my perspective, I again, I have to listen, and majority of the work I do is, again, with young adults and young people. And the reason why is because the attack on them is harder. They're seeing everything they want. They're like a kid in a candy store. I want, I want, I want. It's not necessarily good for you. Who are you? Who do you say that you are? Do you love yourself? Do you know what that means? Do you love
That
the
part.
people around you? Who's the biggest support around you? All those things are important, because it takes away from this. I'm a kid in the candy store and I want, and it starts making them pay attention to who they are. And there's a strength in that, and they'll find out eventually there's a strength in it. But it's better than them bumping their head against the wall so hard that they can't bounce back from it. And I think that's kind of the place of that's kind of how I see the whole lust thing. And we say that love will override, and I heard that before when I was younger, but
Mhm.
it's hard to believe it until you start feeling it and you start actually seeing it at work. So it's not just enough to tell a kid or tell a person I love you, and they accept it for what it is, because now you're battling their desire, you're battling their lust, and you're battling what they want. They want to know that if you're saying that you love me, then you're going to give me what you want, and that's I have a son that's that way. You saying you love me, now
Question
give me
among the rank.
$100. You see what I'm
Oh
saying?
no,
Go ahead. I'm
Oh.
sorry. Go ahead. You're good. Go ahead.
no. I just had an interjection. Not an interjection, like
Mm,
to add on. Love
mm,
unconditionally. 100%
mm.
love
Oh,
unconditionally. But that
I know
doesn't
Mom's got
mean
something for that one.
you need to give all of yourself all the time.
Gotcha.
Just because you can love someone unconditionally doesn't mean that you need to give all of yourself to them in that moment. Because I love a lot of people unconditionally, but there's people in my life that like I can't give too much of myself because I know they're just gonna take. They're just gonna take. They're just gonna take. And no matter how much I love that person, the more I
Mm-hmm.
give into that, the more I get used. Regardless of how much I love them, I'm neglecting myself and I'm neglecting those around me because of that.
Yep.
I feel like that statement that you just said that kind of goes with trust too. Like you can trust everybody with something, but you can't trust everybody with everything. You have to know
Yeah.
exactly what you can trust people with. Kind of like how you can show people love, but it's like you have to know exactly how much love you can give the individual. Because I mean, like you said, you have some people who will take. You have some people who actually reciprocate and give it back. I mean, for
Yeah.
example, if you look at yourself as being a battery, I'm like, you can't keep charging other people and never recharge yourself. Because at some point you're going to be so drained, you have nothing else to give. And if you're around a lot of people who just want to take, you're going to wear yourself down. And that's when, if you don't have the time or the capabilities to go out to recharge, when whatever it is, taking yourself on a self date or going out into the earth to walk in nature, doing something that you really enjoy, a hobby or something, you're going to find yourself in a very dark place.
Mm-hmm.
Discernment.
Yeah.
Impossible.
But sadly, all of that knowledge comes with either trial and error or observation.
Or
You're
doing
right.
things like this to where we can pass on that knowledge to other individuals so that way you don't have to make the same mistakes.
Still
Yeah.
gonna be trial and error.
Yeah, it's still gonna be trial and error because this is something fairly new.
I mean, there was a saying that a pastor at a church when I was younger used to say, govern yourself accordingly.
Uh,
Yeah.
that's true,
Mm.
but we're talking about being raised in a society where the principles of knowing who you are were taken away culturally, speech,
There you go.
identity, history. So the way we're looking at the world, we're looking at it from an enlightened place. But the
Right.
way that our children, the way that we were
All right.
cultivated was not that.
Exactly.
So yes, you're speaking the truth, but we have to take into consideration to what their belief and ideas are about who they are,
Mm-hmm.
with their
Mm-hmm.
history about who they are.
Right.
When they look in the mirror, they gonna see that. So
Mm-hmm.
yes, all of those things are true. We have to take into consideration what was actually created, what we were actually cultivated in this what they call a melting pot. What was
Right.
happening in this melting pot, and who constructed the system. So we're talking about a system that we don't even own.
Right. Exactly.
We're
I agree.
critiquing something that's perpetually keeping us in a state of talking about the thing that's keeping us in the state. Huh?
That's
Mm.
zeitgeist.
Mm.
Exactly.
Okay.
100%. I agree. I agree.
Wow.
And I think the strength of us is the strength of the silence of us when we begin to learn and understand who we are is for the encounter of those people. It's for those encounters. It's for those people that do cross our path that we're able to listen and then begin to have a conversation opposite of what they're dealing with. You see what I'm saying? So that
Mhm.
that actually, yeah, I agree with you 100%. I agree with you 100%.
Mm. Rio, Miss
Yeah.
Robbins, you got anything to add on to that?
I am honestly just listening. I hear a lot, and I think my phone is too high. I don't know.
No, we heard you.
I know I said it's too high.
Oh.
I hear a lot. There's a commonality in all of it, but I kind of
Oh.
see some things different. Uh, um, and I don't mean to stumble. I don't know I'm gonna stumble, but
Oh, lots of words. Wait, what the
no, it's
heck?
not
Oh.
lost. I'm composing them. I was raised differently. Let me put it that way. I was raised by my grandmother. Um, And my grandmother was 92 years old when she passed away. She started raising me at the age of, she was in her 60s. So she was about my age when she acquired me. Now, yes, she was a Christian woman, but I'm telling you, that was a wise woman. I was taught that no matter what it is that you want, you can have it. You can go get, don't let anyone tell you that you can't do this and you can't do that. You can't be this and you can't be that. I wasn't raised that way. I was raised during a time when the KKK was your friend during the day and your enemy at night, your next door neighbor. But yet I thrived. I had people, my own people of color and family that said, no, you can't go to school. I wanted to be a psychologist. I had a teacher to tell me, no, you'll be crazy, you be a psychologist. So what did I end up being? So it's in you who you want to be and what you want to achieve. But y'all, there are people in your life that, you're going to go somewhere, but some people just can't go with you. They don't think like you. They don't
Chad,
act like you. They don't
Chad.
believe in you. They don't believe in themselves.
Mm.
So those are the people where it's like, let me love you at a distance. I need you because your negativity may shed a little bit of light on some things, but it's not something that I want to engage in on a daily basis. I don't need the
Yeah.
negativity. I don't need that. If you can't raise me up, I'm not going to be in your presence for you to tear me down.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's just who
Speak
I
that.
am. And it's I love what Walter said about lust. It's a desire to have something that you really don't need. And I find that the relationship or the difference in lust and love is well, let me get this right. The difference in lust and love is relationship. If you're in a relationship with someone, you love them. You will go 101. And hopefully you in that relationship with someone that's going 101 as well. It's not a 50-50. And it's one of those things where in that relationship, your partner should be able to say, hey, you need a break. I'm sending you over here to this spa, wherever it may be. You pour into each other to know to know each other, to
Mm.
help each other get where it is they need to go. But lusting, a materialistic lusting, Walter was right. It's on the television 24/7. And
Facts.
these kids are seeing this and they're thinking, oh, I got to have the best of this. Oh, no, not just the children, grown folk in these sneakers, these $2,000-3,000 handbags. And I'm guilty. But you know what? I wanted what everybody else wanted. And then I realized I don't need it. Why? Just to fit in. No, 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 no. That's where we get it twisted at. You have got to be your own. You got to know you. And when I say I'm maybe not your own, you got to know you. You got to be confident in you. You got to know that, you know what, I'm just as great and powerful as the next person. And then when you find that one that loves you, love them back. You got to trust and believe that that love is going to resonate in that relationship. If not, you're going to be less than all your life. You're going to be looking for something that you may or may not get.
Love will make
Mm.
the greatest waves in the ocean of life. Love will make the greatest waves in the ocean of life. 100%.
Oh,
Everyone feels it. Everyone will feel it.
oh.
You continue to put love out in the world, and it's gonna come back to you tenfold. Always.
It's going to resonate.
Dang, we just had Mrs. Sigma Uno on here. I don't know where she went. I guess it dropped
Mm.
off. I'm not sure if she was trying to say something. Oh snap! Ooh, we getting good. We getting good. All right, yo, my feet palms are starting to sweat a little bit.
Uh-oh.
So is it my
Uh-oh.
turn?
Uh-oh.
Oh, they back. They back. Hold up. Wait for the camera.
Uh-oh.
Wait for the camera. Oh,
Is it my turn?
Mr. Sigma Uno, you got something to say?
She's
Here?
Hey,
quiet.
family.
Mm.
Oh,
Can
you know
you
I'm
hear
not
us?
quiet. I can hear
No,
y'all.
please
Yeah.
Can
help
y'all
me.
hear me?
I'm in this room with all these men. Please help me.
I'm going to say this from a standpoint where I am a woman raised in a house full of men. I have
Mhm.
18
wow.
brothers, no sisters. Okay. My perspective on life is different by, I don't know, almost a whole 180. Okay.
Mm,
I am a firm believer that wherever you are as an individual now, if you've got people around you, underneath you, in your presence, in your circle, and you have information and you choose to withhold it, you are in the wrong. If people around you are stumbling over things that you are seeing and you did not warn them of, you are in the wrong. I,
mm,
bruh, look, I was raised in a house full of men and I have two girls. When they wanted
mm,
things, when they needed things, when they felt they had to have certain things, fine. You feel that you really want that. Prime example, high school. We're going to start at high school. You want to go to a party. Okay. You're not going to go to this party, but this is what's going to happen. A, B, or C. Okay. One of these things is going to happen. If I'm wrong, y'all can go to the parties for the rest of the school year. Okay. Something's going to end up on the internet. Somebody's getting suspended or expelled. And 9 times out of 10, there's not going to be any adults present at this party. I don't care what you tell me. Okay. We already know there was no adult at this party. And of course, somebody went on the internet. And of course, get to school on Monday, folks are getting called in the office, being suspended and expelled. Now, if that's what you want, by all means, you're setting yourself up for that. You know it's coming. If that's the choices they're making, I'm not going to stop you from making that choice. However, the consequences that go with that, you have to live with that. You want to go to college, getting expelled and suspended, it's not going to work out. You're not going to have the expected end. If you've got a plan, you don't have a plan, you want to formulate a plan, I want to know what your expected end is. If you don't have an expected end, then I'm going to need you to get with yourself and make some kind of plan. But to go out of the door, out of this house, into this world with no plan is an automatic failure. Automatic. So if you don't love yourself enough to take care of yourself and your surroundings, then you are just setting yourself and everybody that you surround yourself with up for failure. Because they're going to follow you or you're going to follow them. And y'all going to lead each other into a hole because nobody has a plan.
Follow the leader, follow the leader.
And keep falling in that hole, the same
Yeah.
hole.
And you're going to keep falling into that hole. He's so fine. Look at that big old
Ooh.
booty. Whatever that is, you can follow that booty if you want to. You can, by all means.
Why
It'll
you had to
lead
say a
you down
big old
path.
booty though? Like you got all these guys here. We like,
I
damn.
can say that.
She telling the truth.
I can
She
say
telling the
that.
truth.
True.
I can say
She
that.
telling the truth.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he's so fine. He's so fine, and his credit is 3. He got a credit
Bruh.
score of 3. And you signed for everything. You got the apartment in your name, the cars in your name. Look, that's not gonna help your situation because once you attach yourself to that person, now your 800 credit score done turn into 400 because 3 done dropped y'all by half, if not more. So versus taking a person to where either meeting them halfway to get them to make it to their 100 or realizing that person is not where you are and that might not be where you need to be, by all means, you can pause, but I would not go backwards. You already know what's back there. You know what's
Check.
back there.
Yeah.
And if you've
I
made a
got something
plan,
to say.
you see 3 steps ahead because you done planned. These are the things that I have to do, and these are the things that are going to come at me during this. Go ahead and add.
Oh yeah, man. I've been dealing with a lot lately. In my own hole, you know. Mostly because I'm dealing with a lot of grief and conflicting feelings and shadow work that I was refusing to do. I was bringing down my partner pretty heavy. Not that I didn't have a plan, but like I found it very hard to execute that plan and to put my best foot forward. And yeah, I was bringing down everyone around me, and it's a whole fucking mess, you know. So she's got hella truth there, man. And even when it's not intentional, you know, like and, you know, my partner had to kind of put the foot down, and like we're currently separated. We're, you know, we're still married. We see each other a lot. I was over at, you know, the house the other day, but yeah, like it's you know, if you're not gonna, if you don't have a plan, if you don't continue to put your best foot forward, you know, you are gonna bring everyone else down with you. At least, unless they're, you know, they wise up, they cut those ties, they let you fall into that hole. And you know, we were talking about rock bottom earlier. You know, it's not necessarily that you have to hit rock bottom and start over, but you have to figure out how to turn that page and start the new chapter.
Learn that
And so
lesson, take the next step.
I'm in the middle of starting that new chapter, you know, picking myself back up because, you know, yeah, it was a tough one.
What we
That
call
chapter
rewriting
isn't over
history.
until you completely turn that page.
hmm
If you can't completely
Rewrite
turn that page,
history.
you're still in that chapter.
hmm
Mm. Might as well be burning the book.
You don't want to
I'm
burn
not
the book
sure.
because then the
I'm not
lesson
Yeah,
is
sure.
gone.
you need chapters in the book. You need to go ahead and create new chapters, a new way of doing what you're doing, new way of learning. You know, understanding relationships from a true spiritual nature. You know, you say I'm more spiritual than ever, and you have to understand that duality. That's a singularity.
True. And like I said, I'm a firm believer of nobody around you should make the same mistake that you made. Especially since you know how you got there and you see it. If you see it and you've been there and you're gonna let them fall into that hole, why?
Yeah, wrong.
Hey,
I like that.
Toodles. Some people want to be in a hole.
And that means that
True,
hey,
true. That's true.
this is I'm gonna say this, Lord forgive me. Everybody is not Joseph. Everybody is not meant to have that coat of many colors, and some people fall into them holes. Guess what? I know where that hole is. I'm not gonna fall into it. But if I hear
Leave
you
them there.
hollering from that hole and you ready to get out, before I pull you out of that hole, we're gonna have a discussion. Because there's no need for me to pull you out of that hole for you to pull me in a hole.
Exactly.
I told you not to
Correct.
go that route to begin with. I saw it coming.
Yeah.
If you choosing to go in this hole,
Yeah.
like I said, these things shall follow. Okay.
When
Yeah.
when you come out of that hole, we can walk together. But I ain't finna pull you out of no hole. But when you come out of your hole, we can walk together. But you're not finna pull me out in there. I'm ready when you come out. But nah, I ain't finna reach. I'm not gonna reach
Toss
in
you
the
a
hole.
rope. I send you a ladder.
There you
But
go.
I'm not. Mm-mm.
There you go.
Hell, I ain't doing none of that.
People
Get
pull
your
you
No,
back.
I'm
get
gonna give
your
you a
ass
rope and
out
I'm
the
gonna give
hole.
you a ladder. I'm gonna give you an opportunity to come out, but
I'm
I'm
gonna
not
meet
going
you when
down
you
in there
come
with
out.
you. Because if you want to
Exactly. That's
come
what I'm
out,
saying.
you gonna come out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna see
Okay.
you when you come out. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That reminds me of a photo that I saw. It was like this guy was trying to climb up this cliff, and he's like reaching up. He's like one hand on the cliff, reaching up, and then this girl was at the top. She was reaching down, but there was a snake like right in the middle in a little crevice of the cliff. And then it was saying, it was like you never know what the obstacle is when you're trying to help somebody else. And I
hmm
was just like, well, dang. So
That's
I
a
mean,
good one.
listening to that, I'm just like, yo, you may be having good intentions trying to help this individual, and they might not even be aware of what what they might end up be bringing into your life, or you might not be aware of what they're about to bring into your life. So it's like you
I
have to
live that.
be cautious of kind of going out and helping individuals. I mean, there's a lot of people these days who are kind of people pleasers due to the fact
Yeah.
that their, I wouldn't say their identity, but their happiness and who they are comes about how people around them feel, how they make people around them feel. And I'm not going to lie, for a little while, I had caught myself up in that. And looking back at it, I'm like, there's a lot of times where it could have went south. There's a lot of times where it did go south. And now I'm at the point where I'm just like, okay, cool. I'm not going to do anything for anybody who won't do it for themselves. My mom told me before, she was like, you can't want something for somebody more than they want it for themselves.
Want it for themselves. That is truth.
They have to want it more.
And it boils, see, like I said, I'm a different creature. Okay.
Yeah, you're
not that I don't care about your feelings. Not that I don't care that you in a predicament that you done got yourself in. Not that I look. I can empathize with you, but I don't have to put myself in a position to where, for lack of a better phrase, my integrity of my plan and what I have going on for myself is compromised.
Yeah.
You should not have to compromise yourself to make any shift in anybody else's intentions. Like I said, if part of that shadow work and working on yourself and knowing these things and getting your spirit in line, whether it be religiously or spiritually, getting yourself in line is to make sure that you have that written out for yourself. When you have thoughts, when you have these dreams, when you're making these plans, write it down. If it isn't written, it didn't happen. Contract yourself. Write yourself a contract. If it's a plan that's going to take 3 years, write yourself a 3-year contract.
Smart goals.
If you're not a long-term person and you need a contract every month, I wouldn't do it from the first to the last day of the month. I would do it on the 15th. I'm just trying to make room for yourself. Let your contract end on the 15th of every month. Whatever needed to get done within them 30 days needs to get done within them 30 days from the 15th to the 15th. And if you're lucky, there's 31 days in a month. Be careful with February, though. We got an extra day this month, but don't count on it.
Leap year.
I'm just saying, sometimes you have to be intentional, even if it's writing down what you have to have done for a week. Okay. I have this really anal habit. I've got a calendar that's on the 15 minute. So if something is scheduled that day, I'm writing it down in the time that it's scheduled for, and I'm blocking off however long it takes to get there, however long it takes me to get to the next place. If it isn't written, it didn't happen. Don't call me talking about you want to do X, Y, and Z, because everybody that knows me that's in my circle knows that I am intentional with my time because I have purpose. And my purpose and intent is to make it to a certain goal. In order to do that, I need to make sure I get my stuff done. Now, I help you with your stuff, but don't call me at the last minute because you also have a plan. And if you know your plan has something to do with something I got to do,
come on.
You better make that calling and election sure. You formulating this plan or you got questions, you better call somebody in a circle because everybody's expertise is different. Biblically, one plants, another one waters, somebody else gets the increase. Okay. Either way it goes, no matter how you slice it, whether it's spiritually or biblically, everybody's gift is not everybody's gift. So
you worry too. Other people
hold on. Say that again.
Which part? You're calling an election sure and making sure that your gift is your gift.
What God has for you is for you.
And you
that part.
Now, if prime example, I cook. I can make just about anything out of anything, right? Somebody comes up with some questionable ingredients they think they can't do anything with, or they want to see what would happen. I can make that happen. Good, bad, or indifferent. I can tell you how I think it might come out. I'll do it. But guess what? That's on you. I don't have to everything. You don't have to taste everything. If that is your gift and you know how it operates, you do what you're supposed to do and you hand that over. You do not have to partake in everything. If somebody said, again, I want to plan a party, right? But that's not your thing. But you know you want to have this party? Guess what? Give me a call. From the number of outlets your DJ is going to need to the amount of gallons of punch you're going to need and hors d'oeuvres. I got you. You ain't going to run out of food. You might even have some snacks for the next day.
Next couple
But
days.
okay, look, don't tell all my business. But I mean, okay, that's me. I can do that. Now, as far as logistics and security, mind you, I know that's not my gift.
Hmm.
I'm gonna call Danley. Hey, peep this out. You just having a party. I got the logistics of the building, the food, the
Mhm.
DJ, all that stuff set up for the amount of people that she's expecting, but I don't do security. Here's this piece. So between what, 5 of us here, we can come up with a party that's
Let's
flawless
pitch in
without
on a
incident.
party tonight.
You know what I'm saying? But
Yep.
that's not the gift that was bestowed upon her. It's a desire that she has, but without the other pieces, it's not going to happen. And if it does happen, it's not going to happen effectively.
Mm-hmm.
She can say she had a party, it could be turned up, but she ran out of food and somebody was fighting, and then the police was there. You know what I'm saying? There's a way to make sure everything that you want to have happen in an orderly and divine fashion, whether it was meant for you or not. Because the reality of it is I'm too old to be throwing parties, but I would like to go to one. You know what I'm saying? But I want to make sure when I'm going, I'm not going to end up in jail.
Know your crowd. You know, keep good people around you. Have a party where you don't have to worry about that shit. You know, why should you be playing security? You know, you should have good people in your life that you don't have to worry about. You know,
You know what?
Right?
She threw a nugget out there. She threw a nugget out there, and what she was talking about was relationships.
Mm-hmm.
She just described a relationship, and I'm gonna take it as a marriage. Everybody has a piece in that marriage. It's kind of like the body. You got your arms, your legs, your head, and all this, that, and the other. That's a relationship. Everybody in a relationship plays a part in that relationship, but we tend to want to overstep our boundaries, and that's when things go wrong. Because, like she said, that's not your gift. If we let people do what people are designed to do, life would be a lot easier.
It'll flow like gears in a clock.
A little bit of oil on them.
Unconditional love right there. You know, letting people be themselves for themselves instead of what you think they should be. You know,
Right.
You'll see, like you
that
said,
in itself is
about those
you
people.
know,
You have to make sure you're surrounded with those authentic people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about making sure that, again, if you got yourself right in an alignment, you will attract the people that are supposed to be around you, and you repel the people. You ever met somebody that y'all thought you hit it off right out the gate, and then somewhere down the line, all of a sudden they get on your last nerve?
Yep.
They just they repel everything about them. It's just look. It's not that they were good for a season. It's just that they could not keep up. There is no future in the front. They could not keep up the front. You wanted to use the gift that you had and saw the gift and how you could serve them and what their agenda is. So they got to do what they got to do to keep you in the circle long enough to get what they need from you.
Yep.
But if you are
studied you
and you study that person enough, you can tell that they working too hard to be they self. You ain't got to work that hard to be yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, what was that lesson I said earlier? Be aware of the entity that molds itself to be exactly what you think you want. It has studied you, become the perfect actor to play that role in your life, and hopes to control you and make you submit, causing you to lose yourself completely.
There are people or enemies or entities or demons, whatever you want to call them, that come into your life to study you, to find out what you like, what you want, what you lusting, what you need, and they will give you that and destroy you. So your plan that Toodles is talking about will be destroyed.
Yep.
Oh yeah. I was actually just that same scenario I was dealing with relates quite to that. It was weird. It was a really weird situation. And then I'm not going to drop names because I really feel like that's
Don't do it.
yeah,
It's not
because
worth it,
it's
Stevie.
why should I? It's but it really felt like I was despite like I was very cautious about it. I was like, this is my boundaries. I can't I don't want to do this XYZ. And I'm not in a good place right now, and I felt that really needed to be respected. But like it got to the point where like eventually it felt like I was talking to five different people every day. Like it was one of those things that like they were sitting there trying to piece of me apart and like take what they wanted so they could use that and spin that and you know season me the way that they wanted so they could, I don't know, inflate their own ego, and
Mm.
it was killing me, and I was so drained at that point, like, and I had realized a lot of things about not only about myself but like my relationship and with my marriage, with my wife, and how I was, I don't know, kind of manipulated to believe believe in a zeitgeist that wasn't true, that didn't actually exist, because that they wanted to project that onto me and our relationship. And this is someone that I confided with, someone that I thought I related to, someone that I had shown concerns to, and would just talk about my feelings every now and then.
Mm.
And you really think you know people sometimes, but you don't really know them until things don't go their way and they
Yep.
react to it.
Yeah.
That's how you know
That
somebody's got an agenda.
yeah.
Yep.
That's where all the
I
agendas
mean,
hit the
Fake and
fan.
phony.
I can give y'all quite a few stories of my life that when I've had that happen. One shoots. I I don't even know where to start right now. I'll just give the most recent. Nah, I don't even. I'll take it far back.
In the
I
beginning.
had in
Which
a
beginning?
land before time.
Which chapter?
I had when I had got married, like right before I got married, when me and my ex-wife were in the dating phase, we did a bunch of things together. And then we got married and tried to do a couple of those things again. And she was like, no, no. And I'm like, okay, well, when we were dating, you enjoyed all this stuff. Like we could do these things and whoop de woo. And she was like, well, I did that because you enjoyed it. I'm like, well, what do you like to do? She's like, I don't know. I mean, it was down to the point where I had asked her favorite color. She couldn't even tell me that. And I was like, damn, like, in my head, I'm like, well, who are you? And that's when I started realizing, paying attention, that she had like three different little groups of friends. And I noticed that when she's around these friends, she acts different. And it
Fake
was
and
one
phony.
day, hmm? What'd you say?
See,
Fake and phony.
There was one day we ended up going to the bar, and there was like one of her friends from one of her groups that was there with a group of friends that was already there. And it was interesting to watch how she would get flustered on how she needed to respond, because she knew how she would respond around these people, but she was another way around the other group, which there was only one person from this other group. And that's when I really was just like, okay, cool. But then in the long term, the relationship didn't work out. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a petty individual. When you do shit, I used to. I'm like, okay, cool. That's what we're doing. Bet. And I would do. I would get even for the most part. But at the same time, with me doing that, I end up being looked at as the bad person. And when the divorce ended up going, like when we announced that we was getting divorced, everybody flocked away from me and flocked to her.
because
And even to
nobody saw
this
the
day,
initial action, they only saw the reaction.
And then even to this day, I have people hitting me up telling me things that she's doing. I'm like, I know. I was like, but I never spoke my truth of everything that had happened. I was always the bad person. And I'm like, you know what? I did some messed up things. I can take ownership of that. I have no problem with accountability. Um, but now I'm just like, it's funny because y'all all pictured me as this horrible person, and now y'all are piecing together what ended up leading to everything that happened. I had another situation that was more recently, probably like what, a year ago, where there was one lady who I was real close with her. I've known her for probably like I think 3 years at that time. Um, I had, like how you said, Voxen or Vexen. I'm like,
Nick's okay.
me and her talked about. I'm just gonna call you Nick. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
Talked about a lot of things, and we confided in each other about a lot of things. There was one day she had got upset about something that was out of my control, had nothing to do with me. And I told her that I was like, that has nothing to do with me. So I'm not going to step into that because in my situation at that time, I've had many situations where I step into things that have nothing to do with me and I become the bad person. And in this time, this person did pretty much was being fake and trying to be all haha when they didn't even like the person, and then got mad at me trying to say like got mad at me because of the fact that I wasn't there, and so she felt like I had set it up for her to be around this person. I was like, you could have easily just hung up. Like you could have hung up. There was no reason for you to stay on there if you didn't want to be there. But then it goes to her pretty much cursing me out and cursing her husband out because we were doing a little game night on Facebook, and with that, I ended up going to take the dog out, so I wasn't on because I'm like, last thing, I'm not gonna be able to pay attention while I'm doing that, and ended up leaving her and another person on there who I guess she didn't really like for reasons we don't know. But her husband had to go to work, so she ended up cursing me and her husband out, feeling like we set her up to be on there by like with this person. And me and her husband were just like, you could have hung up any time. Like, why are you getting mad at us about it? But she ended up going off and pretty much cursing me out and then telling me that I need to grow up because of a situation I had told her about that I had recently went through at that time, and was like, you deserved everything that had happened to you. That kind of effed me up in the head because she knew what I had went through on the psychological standpoint, what had happened with my family and everything like that. And at that point, I was just like, you know what? I want nothing to do with you because as soon as you feel a type of way, you're going to demonize me and attack me for things that have nothing to do with me and get mad at me because it has nothing to do with me and I'm not doing anything about it. And that right there, and I mean the sad part is this person's husband had complained to me many times about the things that she was doing, all that stuff. And I think that right there, you know how I used to be very guilty of seeing how people are, but at the same time seeing what they can be. And I think my issue there was the fact that I saw how she was with other people, but I also saw how she could be, the way that she was with me. And that ultimately is what led to it. So I look back at it, I can't even be mad because if you see a snake, it can bite you. But my dumb ass was like hopping around like a kangaroo mouse, just like, oh, hey there. Oh, you want to give me an apple? Oh, you're so kind. Boom, got fucking ate. Wondering why I got ate. So I was just like, damn. Yeah, I said it. But it was crazy.
That's looking in the hole, looking and seeing
Yeah.
what's in the hole. They want out the hole, but you gonna put your hand down there if there's a bear trying to get out the hole? The bear,
Maybe
not gonna
look. Yogi was looking for a picnic basket, okay, and I knew where to find one.
Hey, boo-boo.
My dumb ass was like, okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
no.
I was smeared in honey, and Winnie the Pooh was looking like, hey. So what did he do? He shoved his head into that jar, and there goes me. But I mean, looking back on it, I recognize my mistakes. There's a situation that previously happens where I learned the word narcissist after being called one, and then realized that the person calling me a narcissist did everything that it states that a narcissist does. Um, that's funny. I'm not going to get too deep into that, but I just had a
Easy
recent
smelt it,
situation.
felt it.
I had a recent situation where the same exact thing
I
that
missed that one.
the same exact thing that the other person had did, this person tried doing the same thing. Projection. I want to talk about projection real quick because it seems to be a big thing that I have run across lately. When people get mad at you for the things that they are doing and try and put it on you as if you're doing it. And the thing
Gaslighting.
that kills me the most is when that happens, and I've learned that I'm a very attentive individual. I literally, the reason I'm so good with security is because without me trying, I'm always paying attention to everything around me. Impossible sees. There's been many times where he thought I was about to lay somebody out because I see them walking up and I just boom. Mrs. Stigma Uno, she knows how I am. My mom has heard stories about things that I have endured. I'm like, I don't try to be. I'm just everywhere. Unfortunately, I'm everywhere all at the same time. And with that, it makes it to where I learn a lot of things and see a lot of things. And I always end up knowing too much. And I've learned that when you know too much about someone or something, you automatically become an enemy. You are now number one target.
Yeah.
When that happens, you're going to get attacked constantly because of the fear of these people feeling that if you speak, you're going to expose everything about them. You're going to expose their whole agenda. So therefore, they're going to do everything that they can to slander you and make you seem like the worstest piece of slime, scum, whatever you want to call it. So that way, if you do say something, nobody will believe you.
Which
And
is
that's the
why,
difference between
from my point of view,
that's the difference between like
go ahead.
speculative thought and constructed thought, right? So like, it's the difference between like, and I made a post about this, my gaslighting post. It's gaslighting is literally someone who's trying to manipulate the reality of who you are and your intentions to everyone around you. And especially themselves. They're going to create this idea of you, and they're going to project it on not only onto you and hopefully make you believe it, but everyone else around you. And it's the difference between like saying, oh, they're doing this, or I think this might be happening. And the I think this might be happening is a constructive conversation to figure out what is happening versus, oh, this is happening, just
Right. And
Hey, I'm
it's
gonna
one
put the beanie on
thing
because I
to
realize my forehead's shining like Rihanna's, bro.
it's one thing to be somebody to gaslight. It's another thing if you hand the person the gasoline. Okay. Nobody needs to know what you know. Nobody needs to know what you know, especially if they haven't gotten to the point where they are in your inner circle. They don't need to know what you know. They don't even need to know what you're capable of. Maybe it's something they need to watch. They need to study. Again, they watch and study long enough. They think they can slip in a crack. Again, that facade it's gonna do nothing but fall. They can't keep it up for a long time because it's not them. They can't.
Unless
They
you
can't.
allow them. Yeah. Yeah.
And they're only touching your nerves. They're
Yeah.
only touching your nerves to see how you react to you touching them touching your
Mhm.
nerves.
If you
And
react,
once you react, they're gonna
they
go
got
forward.
you.
They got you.
Yep.
So
But
you can't even say you
Spider on the
gaslit.
web.
You some
Psychological warfare.
far-fetched. We can't even call it
why?
psychological warfare.
No.
My whole deal. Okay, Lord, I tried to avoid stuff like this. There's an individual in my life who is, for lack of a better phrase, is nothing but garbage. Has been nothing but total and complete garbage from the very onset, right? But
I'm
somewhere
trying to
in
be
there,
better, I promise.
Boy, shut up.
You should think more highly of yourself
Put
than
out of my
that.
mouth.
everybody around me is like, you need to tell everybody what's in that can. It's garbage. No, because the outside of this can is a brand new aluminum can. I can do a number. I can do a garden or something in that can. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, no. Everybody's like, tell everybody what's in that can. It's not for me to tell everybody what's in that can. Sometimes they have to find out for themselves. You cannot broadcast the bad of somebody because that's all bad coming out of you. That's you portraying negativity of somebody else. Mind you, if that person is negative, ultimately, like I said, they are going to expose themselves for exactly who they are, because you can't have five timelines going on at the same time. You're not a hexen beast. You ain't got like 5 different heads going on at the same time. Ultimately, something is going to clash. Your groups of people are going to run into each other, and you can't be 5 people at the same time. You can try it. You will look schizophrenic. Again, that's you looking schizophrenic because you're trying to be 5 people in a room. You can't be 5 different people in a room. You can't do it. You can attempt it, but again, it's not going to go well for you. And in the end, and it's not even the end, we got this garbage can that's still out here shining or whatever. It's been, it's been some years. We're not going to date it. We're not going to date it because that's going to put names on it. We're not going to date it.
I already know who it is.
Okay, this can has got some patina on it. Ain't nothing wrong with the can, right? Ain't nothing wrong with the can, okay? And the can is perfect for somebody else. But that can has done all manners of evil. But if I say what they have done, that's not going to change who they were, and that's not going to change who they are.
Yes.
What that changes is how people look at me, because now they're associating me with that negative action. So now it's whatever I did to bring that particular negativity out of that individual.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
So you gonna have to let them put their own stuff out there and let your light so shine. And if it's blue, it's blue. If it's red, it's red. And if it don't turn on at all, into the darkness you go.
I love the fact that you said that, because the very last time that I was attacked, and then they literally had everybody who didn't even know me gang up on me based off of their lies. I had provided a little bit of evidence from like 10 other people who knew these people as well. And one of the people looked at it, saw the evidence. Everybody else skipped over it and continued to bash me and all that shit. One of the people looked at it and told me, was like, you can't be anybody's savior. You need to let them find out for themselves. And I was like, you know what? And I had made a post about it a while back. I was like, one of the best words I got from one of my attackers was, you can't be everybody's savior. You need to let them find out for themselves. I was like, and that right there, I was like, it really stuck with me. It really resonated with me, because I was like, you know what? That was an aha moment. And it sucked that I had to get slapped, I don't know how many freaking times, by the same freaking demon in a body flesh bag, but it finally clicked. I'm like, you know what? No matter, like, when people are constantly doing wrong to you, whether it's the same person or different people, the thing that always, anything done in the dark always comes to the light, and nobody can be fake forever. And eventually people are going to start noticing those patterns. People are going to start seeing those patterns, and they're going to start piecing things together, which therefore then they're going to end up becoming the enemy of those people. And then the cycle will just keep on continuing. So eventually they're going to end up building an army of people that see through them. And eventually that army is going to possibly end up at some point being like, yo, I remember this person, because it's a small world. Especially if you're in the military or something, bouncing around through different states, because then you're just building a multitude of individuals who know who you truly are. So anywhere that you go, people are gonna run into people who have known you.
The internet has made this world a really small place.
Very.
Okay. They don't have to be in the state that I'm in and be spoken of, right? But the fact that this has been mentioned, you know what? I happen to know that person, and I happen to know the situation that you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? They could be in a different state. We ran into the individual as well. And for all intents and purposes, could be happening in a forum just like this. It could be a forum just like this. And all of a sudden, somebody's trying to air out their grievance with regards to situations that they've had. And they're kind come to some kind of resolve within themselves. Because especially when you enter into a relationship with a narcissist, a lot of introspective things have to happen, especially once you recognize what it is and what you've gotten
Mhm.
into, because you got to figure out what part of me allowed that and got comfortable with that enough to give it enough power to infest whatever it is I'm dealing with right now. And whatever that little piece is, I need to auto correct. I need to correct
Mhm.
that, recognize it in myself to know that this is going to be a beacon for these types of people, especially if you keep
Mm.
running into them. Because if you keep running into them, it has nothing to do with them being narcissists, because there's narcissists out there. If you keep
Yeah.
attracting them, it's something in you that you need to adjust. So after
Mm.
you get
That
done with
part.
that introspective,
Uh,
you got to work that out.
Question of my
and I,
brain.
yeah, I want to piggyback on that. What you just said about, being able to attract. A lot of times we enter relationships, but we not realizing what we attracted magnetically. We sitting there, we pointing the fingers again, and what you said about that projection. A lot of time, people don't even know they're projecting the trauma that they're remembering. They're not
Yep.
even in the relationship that you are actually in. They're somewhere else traumatized, whether it's through physical, mental, verbal. They they not even there. So a lot of the projection that's going on, a lot of that time is what you attract to. So it's a projection
It's in
that you
there.
dishing out, but it's a magnetic pull because we are electromagnetic beings. So you gotta attract the thing that you experience. There's no way around it.
Hey, I am about to do an a-hole move. We're gonna have to shut this off. With
Oh,
it,
That
that's
is
cool.
so not fair.
hey, no, it's okay. We're gonna pick this back up from where we left off next week. All right. So write y'all talking
No.
points down. We're gonna pick it back up. But ultimately, the way that I like to end these is to go pretty much down the line of what you learned today on the panel, the discussion, or the gratitude in general. Impossible, I'll let you go first, and then we're gonna go ahead and hit up Nick, and then we'll go to Miss Buzzy Robbins and end with Mrs. Sigma Uno and Mr. Sigma
Well,
Uno because I know he's still there.
Yeah.
it's it's always going to be gratitude with me, always simply because the diversity of minds and spirit and knowledge that always come and intertwine in this panel. So it's always going to be that. What I learned again, the dynamics of being able to express that knowledge of experience, knowing what you've been through, knowing how it benefits others, knowing how it benefits you. And the thing that benefits you the most, it will empower others. But if you don't know the thing that benefits you, how do you empower others?
Mm-hmm.
So that for me has always been, something that since we started these panels, it's been really cool because it's always a way for you to learn something from a different perception of someone else. Can't beat it.
Bless up, bless up. Hey, what you got?
It's a kind of a mixture of gratitude and a little bit of learning. I'm grateful to have been able to experience this moment with all you guys. Just all these words of affirmation and just pure realness. And we all have different perspectives, and we all have different backgrounds, and we all have different outlooks on life. We've got our own path that we've walked. We've got our own path that we paved, and I'm grateful to learn that you know all these paths are still they lead to the same place. And that's a place of love, and it's a really 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 blessed experience to witness that in real time, all over the country through this computer, through this lens that I got at the top of my screen. you know and I learned that no matter how different we are, sometimes, like, we're all so similar in many other ways, and that is beautiful. So with that, I'll pass it on.
How you doing, Miss Buzzy Robbins?
Okay. What I learned: if you're not paying me to talk about someone, I don't want to hear it. Second thing I learned is how long will I give someone control over my emotions?
Mm.
I'm gonna
Mm,
start doing like my dog. I'm gonna pass it, kick some grass on it, and keep stepping.
mm.
All right.
All right.
I like that. I like that.
Oh, I love you, Ma. I love you.
I love you
I
too.
like that.
A good mom
When I
there.
grow up, I
Let
want to
that
be like
shit
you.
go.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
right. Now to my other mother.
I'm always
Both
going to say,
amazing.
I'm always going to say, I'm glad we've had this time together. If it's not just to, again, impart, there's no need for anybody to stumble over something that I didn't stumbled over before. Again, if I see it, I'm going to say it. If you choose to stub your toe, by all means, stub your toe. I got a Band-Aid for you, but I told you it was there.
Mm,
Always good to be in a space of people that are longing to progress and wanting to get to a next level, wanting to learn, wanting to know, and making the steps to know, not just saying that they want to learn, not just saying that they want to be, but actually actively living their progress and their plan. Mr. Uno?
For me, this is kind of a brother and sisterhood that I've kind of longed for. I'm I've had a very tough experience when it came to religiosity, and I've declined religiosity. So my walk has been a bit lonely until now with the podcast. I love real people, so I appreciate being around real people and people that can speak their truth without feeling like they're getting ready to get jumped or beat on. Um, that's part of my gratitude, and my lesson for today was uh, like what your mother said. Just gotta kick grass over it and keep it pushing.
that's it.
Man, that I gotta say, like, I have met some horrible people in my life, but I gotta say I have met more beautiful people in my life. And I don't have a whole lot of friends. And the very few that I have, we can go months, sometimes years without speaking. But when we do speak, it's like no time has passed at all. I really, truly am grateful and appreciate the connection that I have with all of y'all. Some of
Likewise.
y'all I have known for less than a year, but the connection we have, it feels like I've known y'all in different lifetimes.
Same here, dude. Same
Um,
here. Yeah.
now oh gosh, what the fudge? I'm not getting emotional, but I'm gonna go down the line real quick. Impossible. When I met you, I didn't feel anything per se, so I didn't know how to feel. I didn't know how to take that. I was worried because there was no initial feeling for me, letting me know like this is a good person, this is a bad person. Speaking with you over the course of like 2 months, nothing switched up, nothing changed, and the amount of knowledge you dropped on me, honestly, made it to where I wanted to go home half the time because I felt like I got to overload. So I had to start writing stuff down when you were saying it and taking the text and telling you like, hey, you talking. I'm like, all right, text that to me because I'm not gonna remember all this. I need to research it myself because when I go through it, I need to understand by reading it and also applying it into my life to fully grasp it.
Mm,
Nick, when I first met you, again, I love the fact that the first question you asked to the person, our mutual friend, was, "How long have you known him?" That right there showed me that we both had trust issues. And with that, that showed me that cool, you had trauma, you have gone through things as well. You have boundaries. So it was
I
interesting at the way that we literally psychically connected that night. And every time we got lost, we got drawn back to each other. And ever since that day, the conversations, I can sense when you're bothered by something. Every time that we talk, a lot of times I'm usually the one that reaches out to somebody to see how they are. You hit me up and tell me things and check up on me as well as I do for you. I'm really grateful for that. There's not a, I've noticed that if I stop communicating or checking on people, I usually don't hear from them again. My mom, Miss Buzzy Robbins, not even Mother's Day yet. I am so thankful that you shot me into this world. I hate being here a lot of the times, but at the same time, I couldn't ask for a better mother. As
Gonna make
much
me cry.
as much stuff as you did to me and put me through when I was younger, and all the crap I did to you,
Now you
the learning
talking.
experiences, the learning experiences, and the way that you disciplined me put me in situations to give me the knowledge, the wisdom, and made it to where all the things I've gone through in life, the good and the bad and the motherfucking ugly, you are always there. You always had positive words for me. Even times where the words felt like they were beating me down, it always uplifted me.
Mm.
The things that we have gone through in our family, the times where I felt like I had no one to turn to, but I always could turn to you. I'm really grateful for that. And then all the talks that we have, we've been saying for a long time, we need to get on the podcast together. And you've been on my clubhouse. You've been supporting me on everything that I've been doing. And now you're actually sitting here right now. I love it. Um,
I will cry.
now
I
stop it.
broke him down, y'all.
Um,
It's all right.
Mrs. Sigma Uno. My son's over here throwing up hearts at me. Stop it. Stop it. Nah. Nope, she left. Nope, nah. I'm saying it anyway. Mrs. Sigma Uno. I'm thankful for a couple things. One, the daughter that she has. As much as she gets on my damn nerves sometimes, I would not be alive without her, to be honest.
Amen.
Oh, her daughter didn't even know me and honestly stayed with me for a week as I had a major depression breakdown.
Mm. Mm.
She met me probably 3 days before that.
Mm.
And here we are almost 7 years later, and we're still together. When I met her
Love you,
mom,
Naya.
Too
when I
cute.
met
Thank
the
you.
Sigma Uno, of course, she gave me that up and down look, like, but I mean, what mother wouldn't when you're looking at a guy who is dating your daughter? Over the course of years, we have seen each other in vulnerable situations, ugly situations, me more than you, and you've had my back in ways that I didn't even know you had my back, even though it wasn't the ways that I wanted you to have my back at that time. Now, with it, the way that you scolded me was not a way of being scolded that I was used to. My mom was more of a hands-on, physical touch type of love. Yeah, I said it. Why you hit me? Because I love you. Yeah, I got that from her. And what?
Okay,
But
let it be known it wasn't violent. That was a pop upside the head and said, "Baby, I love you."
My mom did the same.
Mrs. Sigma Uno. Um, my mom knows my history, a little bit of gang affiliation, and with that, Mrs. Sigma Uno, you brought me from the physical retaliation to the sit back and think. We would I would call that the double OG mindset.
That's mental warfare.
Yeah, because I've always been more of a hands-on. You can ask my mom; she was there when I got expelled, all that stuff.
Oh, no.
I've always been more of a hands-on individual, and with that, I really had to start thinking before I act. I had to learn to respond rather than react. You helped me a lot with that, and with your daughter as well, with her emotional intelligence. I really learned how to keep my anger management under control. I really learned how to stop a lot of my bad habits that really honestly could have been very destructive, not just for me, but a whole for the family and what we're trying to do.
I agree, but bless your heart, she live with you now.
Oh,
Yeah, she stuck with me too. Mr. Sigma Uno.
Yes, sir.
There where you are. You ain't gotta come over here because every time you get on the screen, you black out. I'm really grateful for the conversations that I can have with you because honestly, was it last year we went down to see my family for Thanksgiving, or was it the year before?
I think it was last year.
year before.
Okay, so 2 years ago when I went to see my own family, I had some of the deepest conversations I've had in years, and it was with my grandma. She explained to me one of the things that will keep me alive due to the way that my mind works is having meaningful conversations. That is what keeps my depression at bay. Since I met you, I've been able to have conversations like this on a day-to-day basis. I can honestly say that I have not had depression bouts since I have moved. And it was more along the lines of starting when you stepped into our lives. So I thank you for that. And collectively, with all of y'all on this panel right now, I have gained and grew a lot of knowledge because of y'all. And at the same time, I have lost a lot of my old self in the process of growing to be a better man.
All right.
Same, dude. That's the day I met you, man. I have the same.
Right.
And I'm going to go ahead and close this off because my nose is running because my eyes won't water anymore. So we'll chat y'all later. All right. Thank y'all once again.
All right. Great meeting everyone.
Nice meeting
Yes.
everyone.